Olympians train for almost their entire lives, with the goal of winding up here. And that goal comes at a heavy price.
It costs a lot. It really honestly does. Between the training and the traveling, coaches' fees, it's quite a bit.
It might pay off, and they can wind up here.
Because a complete breakfast with Wheaties is good tasting and good for you.
But to get there requires years of financial investment.
You're going to be in a club program that's going to cost about $5,000 a year. There's also fees to be paid for going to competitions. If you go away to an away meet, you're going to travel. You may fly, you may drive, you're going to have to stay at a hotel. All those expenses add up.
Even relatively accessible sports like swimming can cost athletes thousands every year. Those expenses start as a child and only get more expensive over time, costing Olympians and their families hundreds of thousands of dollars in hopes of making it to the Olympic Games. Here's a look at how much it costs to become an Olympic swimmer. Unlike other sports, there aren't a bunch of things you need to buy. The cost of equipment is subjected to preference, but competitive swimmers use special swimsuits called tech suits, which can add up. Men's tech suits like this one can cost up to $400, and women's can cost up to $600.
They could last one meet, 3 or 4 swims. It all depends about how long you want to wear them, if they rip or tear or wear out. The suit it fits very tightly. If you buy 2, 3, or 4 suits a year, you're spending $2,000 on bathing suits.
Swim caps and goggles are not as expensive and can cost up to $300 per year. And there's one more piece of important equipment, a pool. Swimming schools like Swim Labs, a USA Swimming officially recognized professional swim lesson provider, has locations all across the US. Their location in Westchester, New York offers private lessons that cost $349 per month. Regardless of where young swimmers learn how to swim, competitive swimmers will need access to Olympic-sized pools for real training in the sport. This usually means joining a club's competitive swimming team.
Welcome to Meadowbrook. It's the swim facility where Phelps and fellow Olympic medalist Katie Hoff both got their start.
USA Swimming's #1 ranked swim club in the United States is NCAP, or the nation's capital swim club. In 2021, a club membership in the Gold 1 category for elite swimmers at their Washington, D.C. location will set a swimmer back about $5,860 per year. Swimmers start swimming for their local clubs at around 8 years old, but usually will start no later than 12.
There's a lot of club programs in the country. In the metropolitan area, there's well over 100 different programs. And across the country, you're talking about thousands of clubs. Without club swimming, we wouldn't have an Olympic team.
They continue to compete for clubs until they reach the collegiate level, where many of them begin swimming for Division I universities, and some continue both. So by the time kids reach the college level, they've already spent $16,000 to $40,000 on club dues alone. In 2019, USA Swimming had 412,000 members and over 3,000 clubs who paid more than $22 million in fees. They're the governing body of the sport, responsible for organizing events and recording official times for national rankings. Registered members pay an annual fee of $60. That fee allows swimmers to compete in sanctioned competitions. And one of those sanctioned competitions are the Olympic trials. According to Coach Collins, some elite swimmers might seek private coaching to be more competitive. And depending on the coach, private coaching can run a student more than $1,000 per month. Total expenses can vary widely from person to person. USA Swimming estimates expenses for Olympic hopefuls can be anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000 for proper coaching, equipment, training, and travel each year. And depending on a swimmer's training program, they may also need a budget for other costs, like a nutritionist, physical therapist, or a gym membership. The cost of competing in any non-NCAA competitions that collegiate swimmers enter will come out of their own pocket. Swimmers who choose the collegiate route get access to all the necessary amenities and facilities they need, as well as physical therapists, trainers, coaches, and doctors. Olympians like Michael Andrew chose to skip the collegiate route to focus all their efforts on Olympic training. However, that means the cost of their coaching, training, travel, entrance fees, and lodging is all on them.
It is much harder to be an individual athlete, training by yourself and reaching those top levels.
Since 1978, the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee has not been funded by the US government. So US Olympians rely on grants and sponsorships to offset the out-of-pocket costs for their training. USA Swimming gives yearly stipends to top swimmers on the national team. They also provide bonuses for swimmers who make it onto the Olympic team. USA Swimming spends an average of $10 million per year in support of national team athletes, and according to them, most Olympic and Paralympic hopefuls make less than $20,000 a year. Coach Collins says there are sponsored clubs who can afford to pay their swimmers to be a part of their team.
Because you need to have money to live, you need money to train, and you don't have that money. Who's going to help you do it?
The cost of being an elite Olympic swimmer is a full-time investment of training both in and out of the pool. As in most professional sports, the best athletes earn the biggest paychecks. And in swimming, those paychecks come almost exclusively in the form of large individual endorsement deals and sponsorships.